Start your week smiling with your friends, Kathy Zant and Michelle Frechette. It's time to get ready for some weekly motivation with WPMotivate. Happy Friday, Kathy.
Oh my gosh. TGIF.
In all capital letters, like an H1 header tag and exclamation points and bolded. Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yes. SEO is going to pick up on that.
For sure.
TGIF.
Amen. Oh, weeks can be challenging, and they can, even the really good ones, you still get to Friday and you're like, yeah, this is good. I need a couple days for myself.
Exactly. Well, you either have a sense of relief or a sense of accomplishment, right? You get to the end and it's
That
like,
is true.
oh, look at all the things I've done. I know you keep lists of like all of the things that you got done in a week. And I'm just like, got this out, got that out. Oh, things are done. That's great. But this is a TGIF. I'm so glad this week is over.
Same. Although I did get a lot done too. I will say that. I checked a lot of things off my list this week. But at the same time, it's like every single one of them felt like an uphill struggle. So
Really?
well, I mean a little, but yeah. Not in a bad way, just in a I couldn't just sit down and do it. Like when you need other inputs from other people that you're also beholden to their time schedule and their lists. And it's not a negative thing, right? It's not like, oh my God, so-and-so won't give me what I want. No, it's more like okay, I'm not the highest thing on their priority list. So I just have to like wait now and work on the next thing until I can get back to that one. And and I'm sure there are people who are sitting there going, when is Michelle going to give me something that I need? And I'm not prioritizing them in the same way. So yeah, I mean, it never feels good, but it happens. Yeah. So you were just talking a few minutes ago about hacking, and I love it. Tell me more about that.
So when I went to New Orleans, I I treated myself to staying at the Four Seasons, used some points, but they give me my key and I'm staying in room 1337, which is from the old hacking days and, the 3s for ease and all of this stuff. So I can't help myself, but I laugh because I'm doing a security talk the next morning at WP campus. But it kind of stuck with me. And I've been thinking a lot about hacking. And then this morning I wake up and find out that Kevin Mitnick, who's like the OG hacker, right? He was the one that really pushed the envelope with breaking into systems and whatnot back years and years ago. And I remember when I was getting into security, there were all the free Kevin bumper stickers and everything because he was actually imprisoned and called a danger to society because he tested systems, right? And there were even people, I think they said that he could set off a nuclear war because of phone phreaking, because he could phone phreak into NORAD and set off nuclear bombs and everything. But he just passed away. And so it's kind of like this end of an era. And since hacking's been on my mind, I have some issues that I'm dealing with insurance companies not they can't tell me why there's problems. There's a 60-day investigation as to why they're not covering us because we don't live in Michigan. That's the issue. That's what they're saying is the issue. We don't live in Michigan, and Liquid Web HR says that shouldn't be happening. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan says it shouldn't be happening. And yet I log into the portal, not covered because service wasn't rendered in Michigan. And I'm like, what's going on, folks? Well, we're going to have a 60-day investigation to figure this out. And I'm like, we're going to put you under case management, which is just if you're ever dealing with healthcare and they put you under case management, it's going to annoy you because they're just going to want to know everything about your case. And you have to go over all of the medications and then they tell you all of the side effects. And I'm like, I already know all of this. He's been on the same meds for a year. Like, there's nothing. It's just like another level. I'm like, why can't we just solve this original problem of not being covered? And now we've lost his primary care physician, all of physical therapy is shut down. And so as I go to take a shower thoughts, I'm like, I'm just going to have to hack this too. Everything that you think is a limitation is an opportunity to hack yourself out of it. So that's my thinking this week.
Sometimes that's the only way. Like you got to rely on your own resources. I I tell people when I was working at Give before we were even acquired, we at Give there's a an add-on that you can use for sending uh for I'm trying to remember the word for a tribute, right? So you can it's called
Uh-huh.
tributes. So like I could give to like to the local dog shelter in honor of my friend Kathy's aunt, right?
Yeah.
And you can set it up so that when you do that, an email goes to Kathy's aunt that says Michelle just gave $10 to the local dog shelter in your name.
Yay.
Well, I figured out a way to use that without any code or anything else to turn it into sending e-cards. So you could then have a whole like e-card system. Like let's say you're the local state park and the state park is
Yeah.
doing a thing, you could have pictures of the state park like from the Adirondacks, and you could say, to send this e-card it's $5, it goes to the nonprofit, and you send this e-card with a picture and whatever sentiment you want to Kathy's aunt. So it's no
Yeah.
longer I gave $5 in honor of or in memory of somebody, more like, hey, I wanted you to see this beautiful picture and it cost me $5 to send it. And I said, I hacked Give WP's tributes add-on. And Devin was like, let's not use the word hack. I'm like, no, like an IKEA hack, not like like I
Yeah.
broke the code hack. Like that means two different things. So yes,
Yeah.
sometimes you can hack things in a very positive way. I think about like the IKEA situation that way. Like, oh, that
Yeah.
bookshelf, I hacked it and now it's a headboard. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I've always thought, well, the original creativity that came into computing, like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, who created personal computers and created,
Mm-hmm.
the computing systems that we're using today,
Yeah.
the initial start of that was those guys, and they were phone freakers like Kevin Mitnick too. They the funny thing was there was a whistle that you could get out of the bottom of a box of Captain Crunch that made the
Okay.
perfect tone for analog phone freaking, so you could get free long distance.
Oh no. Oh, I love it.
It's hacking's just like childlike playfulness to find new ways of doing things. It's like that
Yeah.
creativity, that innovation. It's
Mm-hmm.
all innovation. And so I am, one of my lifelong missions is to take back hacking as a positive thing, as a
Yeah.
positive term, rather than a negative. Yes, you can hack into systems, and yes, you can change systems. And there's a lot of malicious actors who do
Mm-hmm.
hacking, but there's a lot of good that comes out of hacking, and a lot of creativity out of breaking out of limitations, breaking out of this
Mm-hmm.
box of this is the way things work, or this is the way things should be, or this is the way we've always done things, or this is the way our organizational chart works, or all of these shoulds that people have to like live in these
Yeah.
boxes of this is the way things are going to be. No, you get to decide. You get to decide
Mm-hmm.
how you're going to want to live your life, or how you're going to experience things. And so today, in honor of Kevin Mitnick, today we are all hackers. I
I
am a
love it.
hacker, and
I mean,
I'm going to
apparently I
hack
am too.
myself out of my. Yes, you are. Well, the whole like link tree replacement thing, that Cadence, we kind of had a big thing happen with all of that, that kind of created a lot of people copied that original hack was yours, of
Yeah.
here's a link tree, you can only build this type of thing on Linktree. It's like, no, you can build it, you can build it on your own platform, and in so
Absolutely.
doing, you hacked a
Mm-hmm.
solution.
It's like differently purposing, not even repurposing, right?
Yeah.
Because repurposing means you take something that had a purpose and change its purpose. This is differently purposing it, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. It's finding loopholes sometimes, like, like
Yeah.
perhaps the way you're going to hack the insurance situation is you'll figure out where the chink in the armor or the loophole is and be like, there, that's what it is. Fix that one box, uncheck that one box, and it'll be like, oh, look, you're covered again. Good. Now get me back my physical therapist, get me back my primary
Yeah.
care, right? Like all of those
Yeah.
things can fall into place. And it's really interesting. I recently, okay, we all know I love TikTok because I talk about it all the time. But like I love watching the TikToks where the unexpected happens. Like
Yes.
when they open up the channel gates, I don't know if that's what they're called, like the spillways or whatever on a dam, and like this like 100 yards of sludge and mud comes out. You're like, wow. And then the water runs clear, right? It's like you got to get rid of the things that are blocking that don't really belong there, but somehow end up there. And that's a
Yeah.
hack too, right? To get to figure out how to make things work better.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the I think I talked about this before. The guy with the chalk. Did I talk about that before? The with the he. This is like a story from, I don't know if it's even true, right? But from my MBA classes, where a guy gets hired, he built the system. He no longer works for the company, or he's, company bought the system from him, whatever, or he worked for the company, something like that. And they say it's broken. The system's not working. We're not producing whatever it was, ice cream or whatever, and it's costing us like $2 million a day in lost production. And so he flies in, he he walks around, he's listening to the pipes, he's looking at the pipes, he's taking it all in. He walks over to this one area, pulls a piece of chalk out of his pocket, puts an X on the pipe and says, this is where your issue is. Replace this pipe and you'll be back in
Yeah.
service.
Yeah.
Flies home. They get a bill the next week from him. It's like, $4,500 for the air and the hotel and $30,000 to solve the problem. And
Yeah.
they're like, and they call him back. They're like, $30,000 for a X on a pipe for just a line drawing of it with chalk? Like,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. And he's like, yes, but did you know where to put the check mark? Did you know where to
Yeah.
draw the X on it? Right. So
Yeah.
finding those issues is locating the bottleneck, what's causing the bottleneck, those kinds of things. You hack it,
Right.
you figure it out, and you
Yeah.
open up possibilities and channels, and even just getting things functioning back the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is another thing that I notice. There's another lesson in that, in terms of like knowing your worth and knowing, when you bill a client, and I'm talking to every single WordPress agency owner, because I know that a lot of them, are people that follow us and that work with
Mm-hmm.
us. And a lot of people bill by the hour, and what's the hourly rate and what's the going rate. But if you've been in this business for a really long time and you know how WordPress works, and
Mm-hmm.
the underlying structure of the internet and what's a CSS problem versus what's a JavaScript problem, etc. If you
Yeah.
know all of that, you know where to put the X, and you need to be charging
Yep.
for that knowledge and that
Yep.
experience. And um, I see so many people who are like, oh, well, this is the going hourly rate. And like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but you have 20 years of experience building sites for people, even outside of doing WordPress work. Like, that's
Right.
valuable. And if your clients don't see that value, then it's time to up your rates and get new
Yeah.
clients, or
Yeah.
just stick with the clients that know that value. And anybody who's
Mm-hmm.
like trying to like make you lower your rates because this is the going rate for web design in our community
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, just don't do that
Yeah.
to yourself. Like,
Yeah.
really know your value.
Remember, it's $1 for the chalk and $29,999 for knowing where to use it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And WordPress is free. People aren't buying WordPress, they're buying your knowledge
Yep.
for making sure that somebody has an open source system that they can control, that they can build their digital life on, and
Mm-hmm.
knowing how to, like, even the marketers knowing how to use all of the different social networks, but then driving that traffic back
Yeah.
to a place that's owned by the client. So important. So know
Yeah.
your
And
value,
we see it
hack
in
your value.
hack your. Ooh, I like that. Hack your value. We see it in Lego, right? Like I've got a lot of Legos. You
Yeah.
can't also. I mean, I think you can see that everybody is awesome over here, and then there's
Yeah.
also this plant is a Lego plant. What you can't see is over here to my right is, and if I move it, it'll all fall apart because we know how Legos are, especially if I've built them. But is the bonsai tree, and the
Yeah.
bonsai tree has these little leaves and whatever, but it also comes with um a bag that you can take the leaves off and replace with pink flowers. So it's like the tree in bloom. But if you look at the flowers, each one is a little pink frog. So they
Oh,
actually
really?
used the frogs from some other kit that you can replace on the Lego leaves with, and it looks like this tree is in bloom, but as soon as you look closer, it's just like covered in pink frogs. And sometimes I don't know if there's an analogy of kissing the frog to get the prince or whatever, but sometimes you can use things for other purposes and you can create beauty out of frogs. I don't know. There's something there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's true. It's Well, there's beauty in everything.
Yes, of
Just have to
course.
look at it in the right way.
Well, I was doing this backwards. This guitar right here, that
Uh-huh.
is the one my father played my whole growing up life, right? These other ones also are his, and these are the ones he played later in life. But this one, the neck is broken. It can no longer be played as a guitar unless I put a lot of money
Yeah.
into taking it to a repair shop and trusting them to fix it the right way. But I don't play the guitar anymore. I haven't played since before my daughter was born. She's 31. So I don't really play anymore. I don't need to get that guitar repaired because now it's repurposed as
Yeah.
art and
Art.
and sentimental art in my own
Yeah.
office. And so
Yeah.
I hacked that freaking guitar.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
It is. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and it's got so many memories. That's so cool.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So hack away. Kathy, I can't wait to hear how you hack the insurance system. I mean, not illegally, if any, like, what is it? For this podcast is for educational purposes only.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever
That's the
that, like,
thing.
that little disclaimer we should put out there. But yeah, I mean, I love that. And I love how, like, you were able to find the hospital bed for so much less because you understand the right ways to do things.
And
And
the
you know that,
standing frame, I got that for I
yes.
got that for like even less than the hospital bed. And people were like, oh my, or the therapist when they were coming, were like, wow, that's a really good one. How'd you get it? And it's like he lost his right side. And so it's
Mhm.
got the handle on the left side. So he can still like raise himself up
Oh,
and
good.
not that he wants to. He wants I'm hacking him
Vicky.
too.
Yeah,
But it's
you have
yeah,
to.
no. It's hacking is really it's just like I think one of the reasons why I like it so much is because it's just all about like how you see things, how you think about things, and the story you tell yourself about what it is that you're experiencing. Because if
Mhm.
you tell yourself this is frustrating, this is difficult, oh my gosh, there's a message on my phone from Blue Cross just now coming in, and I have that trigger of like, what now?
Right.
um I just want my solution, right? And I know it's not going to come from these people. Uh, what story am I telling myself right now as I get
Mhm.
that trigger? So it's like putting that buffer zone so I can
Mhm.
hack myself. So you give yourself a little bit of space, and then it's like, okay, this message is coming in. What do I do about this? Like,
Mhm.
how am I going to hack this situation? How am I going to see it differently and tell myself a
Right.
different story so that one, I don't get upset, and two, that I can create a better experience. And then also, I kind of have to just like wonder, like, how sometimes bad things happen and you look back and it's like, okay, well, I understand why this happened, and maybe it's still a bad thing. Like him having a stroke is still a bad thing. There's
Sure.
nothing. Well, there's a couple of things where he was like stressing himself out a lot before. He doesn't do that anymore. So it's like, there's a
Silver
hell of a
linings.
thing
Yeah.
to have to do to yourself. Yeah. So looking for silver linings. So I'm like in the middle of when you're soaking in it, it's really hard to see that, to see
Yeah.
what kind of benefit could be coming from it. But I'm looking at this, I'm trying to see, okay, let me just see that. Like maybe I need to go take another shower. What is it about the shower? They say it's like ions or something, like it changes like the way you think, because there's
Mm.
always like shower thoughts, like things that you think
Mhm.
about when you're like in water or something. Maybe you need to take another shower and just like keep thinking about how I can hack this. But also I have to hack myself first. I have to hack my mind.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I can't hack the thing. I have
Mhm.
to try new ways of seeing it. Otherwise, like even if you're trying to hack into a computer system or you're picking a lock or whatever, you have to think about it in a different way. You have to try different angles. You have to
Yeah.
try different vulnerabilities or try different tactics, different strategies in order to hack into something. And there's this whole like
Yeah.
method of like growth hacking too. That's another thing I like about like
Yeah.
marketing is we're hacking we're hacking our audience, we're hacking perceptions, we're hacking how people see a brand by trying different messaging. So
Mhm.
it's all up here.
It is.
I just
Well, and you made me think too, like your attitude and your gift for kindness, the way that you interact with other people, it's maybe your human nature, but it also is a way to hack, right? So when I think it was either the standing frame or it was the bed. When you went, they're like, bring a truck because you'll have to do this yourself, kind of thing. And you got there and they're like, oh, let me help you. And like,
Yes.
right. And it was because you didn't show up and be like rude. You didn't show up and be like matter of fact. You weren't like, let's get this home. You were yourself. You were kind. You approach things with empathy. You are just who you are, right? So in spite of, and I know I'm not like, you're not little Mary Sunshine with no matter what happens, this is fine, it's okay. Oh, I lost my right arm, it's just been a flesh wound or whatever, from Monty Python.
Yeah.
There are times when you cry and you scream and you yell, because we're human. I mean, I'm really speaking about myself right there, but yeah, but to keep that away from the people that doesn't need to affect, right? So like you're picking something up from somebody on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace. They don't need to know that you had a shitty day and that things that just frame it positively, and the wonderful things happen. So here's your hack for the day. Positive attitude. Not always easy, but strive for it.
Yeah. Definitely having a positive attitude and knowing that miracles happen all the time. It's just, are you open to receiving it? Are you open to see it? Are you open to having something be different? Wow, I don't even feel like I need therapy later today, but I'm going to still keep my therapy appointment.
I would go.
I got other stuff to talk about.
Absolutely. But it is always good to talk to you. And it does feel therapeutic. And no matter how, like, there you go. There's your hack. Talk to a friend who helps make you feel happy, because there's so much to say about that. Even if all you do is bitch at each other and you're not about each other, but like vent to each other about what's going on. Got my hair done. It never really looks purple in this light, but it is really bright purple. Got my hair done last night, and my hairstylist, I almost said my hair therapist, my hairstylist, I've known since high school, and she's one of my best friends. And the 2 to 3 hours I spend with her every month while she does my hair, we talk about everything. We talk about our parents, we talk about our kids, we talk about, and it's not like that, oh, and Lydia is so accomplished. It's like, oh my God, that little brat didn't respond to my text for 3 days. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that she and I can talk about. And I leave feeling better because like, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Right. So talk to friends. It often helps too. It's the best hack. Friends are the best life hack.
So. They really are. And I'm grateful for your friendship, Michelle.
Always. Likewise. Thank you. Well, we don't know what next week. I'm hoping that next Friday you come on the show and you're like, the insurance hack worked. So let's put that all out positively for this week. I do hope that everything works out. And for you listening at home, thanks for hanging in there with us. We do ramble a little bit from time to time, but it's all good stuff. And we hope that our rambling, our venting, and our life hacks also have a positive impression on you and a positive effect, and that this week carries you through in a wonderful and beautiful way. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
This has been WP Motivate with Kathy Zant and Michelle Frechette. To learn more or to sponsor us, go to WPMotivate.com.